It's Powerback time on the Gutsy Podcast, your 20-minute boost to reclaim and refocus your energy. Get ready to have bursts of clarity, a boost of confidence, and the practical steps you need to make gutsy moves forward. You've got big things to do, so let's get your power back. Do you ever get this whole body physical experience when you think about money? Maybe it's a tightness in your chest when you have to open up your banking app, a silent panic when you're at the grocery store and you run your card and you're in that split second waiting for it to get approved, or that flustered anger that comes about you when you know it's time to pay your bills. My friend, if that is how you have felt in the past, or maybe that's how you're feeling right now, I want you to know that I understand you. And I want you to know that you can break this cycle. And on today's Powerback, I'm going to teach you 3 things that you can do to help break this cycle of panic. Because while money is a tangible 3D object, the work to change how you feel about it, that's an internal job. And if you want to experience money differently on the outside, then we have to experience money differently on the inside. I want to start things off today by telling you that I am not a money expert. I have no formal financial training. And I'm not even financially where I know that I can be yet either. So what the shit makes me qualified to even have this conversation with you? Well, I've got quite a history with money. And I've made some really big and some really small gutsy moves that has empowered me to shed the old stories, to let go of the past, to get rid of these freaking habits that I inherited as a child. I've changed my life. I've changed the way that I see money. I've changed the way that I talk about money and experience money. So what makes me qualified? I've walked the walk. I've talked the talk. And I have figured out some really simple shit that works. And I want to give that to you. Before we dig into those things, though, I want to give you some context. And trigger warning, this is some financial shit, okay? And if you can relate to anything that I'm about to say, just know that I freaking love you and I'm giving you a really big hug. I filed bankruptcy at the age of 24. This was at the peak of the recession, the housing market crash in 2009. Back it up 2 years, I had just quit my job to go full-time and start my agency. I was 6.5 months pregnant, and in the middle of the day, just a few weeks after I quit that job, my husband walked home into the front door during the middle of the day to tell me that he had been laid off. What industry did he work in, you ask? None other than the housing industry. He was an architectural draftsman, and people were not designing homes in 2007. We fought tooth and nail. We did everything that we possibly could, and it just led to it. We had to file bankruptcy. It was the only way through. And I carried a lot of shame for that for a really long time. But you know what? It didn't stop there. I watched my car get repossessed out in my front yard in the middle of the day in front of my neighbors, in front of my husband's grandmother who was at our house helping me to babysit our son while I was working. At one point, I stopped paying myself to make sure that I was taking care of my employees. At the height of things, I had about 6 months worth of my own paychecks laying on my desk, completely uncashed, and it led to us almost losing our home. And I had to remember that these habits just didn't come from anywhere. If I back it up way further, I can remember being guilted into handing over my paychecks every single week to my parent because they said, if you don't give me money, your brother and sister won't have a place to live. If you don't give me your paycheck this week, I won't be able to pay the car payment, and then I can't take your brother and sister somewhere. I grew up with financial responsibility at a very young age. I started working when I was 14. And the conversations about money in our home usually sounded like money is the root of all evil. As soon as you get it, it goes back out the door. It doesn't do you any good. It's hard to make. If you have too much, then you're arrogant. You're stuck up. You think you're better than everybody else. I grew up eating frozen turkey in a plastic bag on that cheap ass white fucking bread. You know what I'm talking about from the 90s. And one other quick thing. I mean, I could tell you about 500 other things, but one other one that really stands out to me was at that time, the state quarters were really popular, like collecting them. And my great grandmother and I were doing that together. And I had a special bowl in my room where I was housing them. And while I was at school one day, my parent went into my room and stole the quarters to go out and purchase something for herself. Listen, I didn't just experience financial hardship. I absorbed financial shame, and I carried that shit into adulthood, into leadership, and into business. I devalued my worth. I undercharged in my business. As soon as money came in the door, I made sure it got out of there because that's what I was used to. I have made some terrible financial mistakes. I have held on to things and people for too long for the fear that they were going to disappear or leave. But you know something, even in the moments, and there have been plenty of them when I felt like I was drowning, there's always been a voice inside of me that whispers, Laura, you are meant for more. This is not the life you were intended to live. You're here to do great things and be highly compensated for those things. You live a life of philanthropy and giving back and supporting people in the community. And even in the moments when I'm like, that's so far off, like it's so not where I am right now, there was just a thread. And honestly, I think that's all it needs. And if you're listening to this today, I can't help but think that there's a thread for you. There's a belief in you that you are made for more. And it may not be loud and it may not be prominent in this moment, but it's there. And when you have that belief, you can have the ambition to take a step forward, to try something new. That's what I did. That's all I did was I did the work. I leaned in. It wasn't just about earning more, but I wanted to heal what was underneath of it. I wanted to heal the thing that kept showing up. Facing the patterns, letting go what I was used to and what I was taught, building new money habits, creating safety in my nervous system around receiving money and keeping money. And like I said, am I where I want to be yet? No. Am I still undoing some of this stuff? Absolutely. But the difference is I'm in control now. I trust myself with money. I've broken the cycles that kept me in survival mode. I have moved past it. Things are moving forward again. And for the first time in my life, I'm starting to receive on a level that I've always known inside of me, but now it's embodying. Now it's happening. Now it's starting to physically, tangibly happen in the 3D world, meaning a check is coming through. I'm getting notifications of payments. I see balances go down. I'm not panicking every time I'm talking about money. I'm not flinching or cringing when it's time to have the money conversation with a prospective client or someone that's going to hire me to speak. It's all different. And the 3 things that I'm going to teach you today are some of the foundational things that have allowed me to get to this place. And I want you to experience this for yourself. So this is my gift to you today, okay? Good time to get a pen and paper if you are in a safe place to do that. If not, you can always come back and listen again. What I'm about to teach you, by the way, has nothing to do with spreadsheets. There's no profit and loss. We're not talking about budgeting. I'm not saying that any of those things are not important because they are, but there are financial gurus that can teach you about that stuff. That's not the space that I'm going because I'm going to guess that you've probably tried some of that tangible stuff, but the cycle keeps on going. What we're really going to dig into today is about catching the panic that you feel, catching the feeling, the fear, when you start to shake, when you start to tremble, when you feel a heaviness in your chest. When you get just like randomly super freaking pissed off. I mean, have you ever done that? Gosh, I know that in the past, when I'm like running in the back of my mind about money and then like an unexpected bill pops up or something is $10 more than it was supposed to be, or I don't know, just it's been running too long in my mind and then something happens. Like I've had this outburst of anger and I snap at people and I freak out. That one took some doing to undo, but the whole goal here is we've got to catch those feelings. You have to notice those feelings because when you take action after you're feeling that sense of heightenedness or triggeredness, that's when things start to get really sticky. That's when we continue the habit loop, the patterns, the path that you're used to walking. We got to walk a new path, okay? So by catching these feelings and doing something new, something different, you are quite literally creating a new pathway in your brain and you're introducing safety in your body. See, what's happening is your body is having this reaction to what it's known in the past. That's all your body knows, is where you've been before. And your subconscious brain remembers everything. Even if you don't have a memory of it, your subconscious brain has stored the memory of it, which means your body has stored the feeling that came along with it. And so the whole goal here is to shift what's happening internally. Like I mentioned at the beginning, the money is an external thing, yes, but the way you feel about money is an internal thing. And that's what we're going to change today. Okay. So the first one is breaking the habit of spending the money the second it arrives. You know what I'm talking about. You get a check-in and you're like, I got a bill, it's got to go out. I got paid on Friday. I've got back things I need to take care of. It's going out. You find a $20 bill in your winter coat jacket. The second you find that, you have found something else to spend it on. This kind of behavior usually happens when you don't feel comfortable receiving. You say you want the money, but then when you get the money, you push the money away. Now, look, I get it. I totally trust and believe that there probably are bills that need to be paid. There probably is something that you need to allocate some of these or all of the funds to. I'm not saying that that's going away. I'm saying that we've got to start being comfortable or build safety around holding space for money, keeping money, seeing money in your bank account, looking at the money on your counter or on your desk. Remember, this old habit is like, as soon as it comes in, it's got to go. Whereas the new belief and habit is it's okay to have money. Because if I can't hold on to this little bit of money, how am I going to hold on to the bigger amounts of money that I'm trying to call in? And so the way that you break this is actually quite simple in its act, but it's an emotional thing that you've got to catch and intentionally do. So let's say it's Friday. Your check has just cleared in your bank account and you've got a stack of bills laying on your desk. Your mind and your body are going to be like, I need to take care of that shit right now. Where I want you to interrupt and do something different here is to catch that, notice when you feel that, and then say, I will do that in an hour. I can pay that this evening. You know something? I can actually pay those tomorrow. This is going to start to break that connection that you have with this do it now or everything fucking falls apart kind of mentality. It softens your body. And yes, it's going to feel uncomfortable at first because, again, remember, habits, they don't just form overnight. You are used to doing it a certain way. But you can also create a new one. You've likely inherited or created this one, so you get to create a new one. And so the new thing that you do is it's Friday. My check just cleared my account. I've got a stack of bills on my desk. I'm going to pay those tomorrow morning instead of stopping what I'm doing and doing it right now. And then log into your account. Look at the money in there. Envision what it's like to have that in there all the time, or having twice that amount, or 5 times that amount. Let's go 10 times that amount. Imagine how you would pay those bills if you had 5 or 10 times that amount in your account right now and always. You wouldn't be rushing to get it done. You would know that it was there and available. You would be ahead on things. You would be on time for things. This is the energy that I want you to step into. While that may not be the truth in this very second, it can be your truth in the near future. But right now is when we start to create that new habit, introduce that new feeling. This is showing your body that it's safe to have and to keep money, to carry a balance in your accounts, to have availability on your cards. We're creating the space to hold, to have, to receive. I do this sometimes, and I still honestly catch myself if I get an invoice in my email, for instance. I used to, oh my God, the invoice just came in and I got to plan it out and I got to stop everything that I'm doing. I got to stop working. I need to, leave from what I'm doing with my family and get on my phone or get on my computer and figure things out. And whoa, Laura, whoa. How does the higher aligned Laura show up with her money? Okay, I got the invoice. And you know what I do now? I have a folder in my inbox called Finances. Actually, it's called #1_finances so that it's the first folder on there. And as they come in, I see it. I say, hello, thank you. I will handle you soon, and I move it to that folder. And then when I'm in a good space and I've dedicated my time to really look at and be with my finances, I have it all organized in one space. I'm not in that frantic mode of getting it out the door immediately. And I've embodied the energy of knowing that it's okay to have the money. This is a big one, okay? So that's why I made it number one. The second one is, my friend, you have got to change the way that you are talking about money. I realize that it might be challenging right now, and it's okay to have like constructive venting or to get it out of your system, to really just like express yourself. That's very different than every single one of your friends, you're just complaining about money. I don't make enough. These fucking bills, I can't stand this shit. I'm never going to get out of debt. What's the point anyway? It's too hard to make money. I'm never going to amount to anything. Energy out is energy in, my friend. I know that some of that stuff feels really true right now in the moment, but I'm here to tell you with a little extra tough love that shit isn't helping. I used to walk around saying things like, no one's ever going to pay me to speak, and I'm never going to be able to make the kind of money that I want to. Money makes me look like a jerk. I don't want to look like or act like I'm stuck up. And you know what? People didn't pay me to speak. I wasn't getting ahead. I did not have a good relationship with money. Energy out is energy in. And I'm not asking you to lie about money or the way that you're feeling. I'm asking you to talk to your money like a friend, not an enemy. If I was a constant jerk to you, I said terrible things about you all the time, I put you down all the time, I ignored you all the time, would you keep coming back here? No. Nobody wants to feel that way. So think about that same context as money. Why on earth would money come back when you're talking about it like it's a terrible, terrible person? There is an enormous shift that happens in your world and in your energy field when you stop trash talking money and instead you start treating money the way that you want money to treat you. Tapping into the future and what you really truly want in your life financially. Think about that. Again, get into that space. How would you talk about money differently if you had all of the finances that you wanted and needed? Let's say your bills are paid, you're traveling the way that you want to, you have X amount of dollars in the bank, you're able to do A, B, or C. Let's fantasize for a second. Your financial world is exactly the way that you would love it to be. Maybe it's even better than you expected. Would you be trash talking money then? Yeah, I didn't think so. When you get in the space and the habit of talking kindly to money, again, it's so simple. Talk to it like a friend, a companion, someone that helps and supports you. For instance, when you receive money, when you get paid on Friday, look at the money in your account and say, thank you so much, X amount of dollars. It's so nice to see you. If you're in line at a store and a random person hands you a coupon for $3 off your order, notice and acknowledge that receiving. Thank you, $3 for coming into my life. This is so exciting. If your cable bill is $9 less this month for whatever reason, because why does that shit fluctuate, honestly? Notice the $9 difference. Thank you, universe, for this extra $9 in my account today. If you go out to a really nice dinner with your spouse or a client or your best friend, just stop and acknowledge in the moment as you put your card on the table. Thank you, money, for giving me and affording me the ability to have this experience. It might feel a little odd at first, okay? But I'm telling you, this is an energy game changer. And if you're around a person or a group of people that are just like complaining and bitching about money, I want you to take that as your cue to leave the conversation, or you can shift the conversation. Whatever you do though, don't get sucked into the conversation. That's the old energy trying to pull you back in. My friend, you are moving forward. And if you want to take it one step further, I have one or two affirmations that I like to say and use whenever I am interacting with my money or spending my money. So for instance, before I pay a bill or before I purchase something at the store, I'll pause just for a second, sometimes out loud, sometimes to myself, and I say, whatever I spend comes back to me times 10. It's very simple. It only takes a second. And it reminds me that it's okay to let go of the money because I know that the money is coming back. And it's not just coming back, because I have declared that it's coming back times 10. Before we dig into this last tip though today, inside the Gutsy Collective, I have created and built the Gutsy Money Reset. So it's like the tips that I've been talking about here today, but amplified. It's a month-long class that helps you to rewrite your relationship with money by healing old patterns, ditching that scarcity feeling and mindset, and building a financial foundation that is rooted in power, trust, and expansion. And so if your money story has felt really heavy or inconsistent or full of guilt, then I want you to know that first, you're not alone, and two, that it can feel different. So if you want to break the cycle and have support and guidance around you, I'm in there answering your questions. Then go to LauraAura.com and click on the Gutsy Collective. As soon as you sign up, you get instant access to all of it. Last but not least for today anyway, let's talk about this angry / anxiety feeling that pops up when it's time to use your money. Remember that outburst that I was talking about earlier? That anger that pops up and you get on your computer and you're like, blah, 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 slapping your keyboard down and there it goes again. Or maybe it's softer or quieter or shows up in the form of anxiety or stress. Maybe you shut down. Remember that energy out is energy in. And before you step into a space of working on or with your money, whether that's reconciling your account, looking at your bank account, paying your bills, doing the budget for the month, updating your spreadsheet, organizing your paperwork, whatever it is, okay, that you got to do. You get my point here. We've got to shift that energy before you start doing it, okay? So whether it's anger, sadness, anxiety, panic, maybe you have a combination of all the above, before you step into the space of working on and with your money, I want you to go feel that shit out. Get into your body, yell if you need to, dance to move it through your body, put your bare feet on the ground to ground yourself, do a meditation, shake it out. Gosh, somatic work, working with your body to move that energy is freaking powerful. Take a walk, go outside. I don't care what you do. All I want you to focus on is moving that energy before you start working on and with your money. Now we not only interrupted the pattern, you're creating a new relationship with how you feel with money. And now I want you to set the tone. How would you like to feel when you're working on and with your money? Maybe you put on some fun music that's upbeat or exciting or relaxing. Sometimes I like to go on YouTube and look up like money frequencies. So for instance, prepping for this episode, and I'm going to read this off of my screen, like literally right now, here in the moment. I was listening to this as I was prepping and writing down my notes to prepare to record this. So this one is a 432 hertz plus 1111 hertz. Attract wealth, prosperity, and healing through divine energy, universal manifestation. And in the description, it goes on to talk about like its golden aura frequencies, harmonic resonance, helps you to attract wealth and prosperity, helps you to heal, helps you get into the flow of divine energy. Different feelings and emotions have different frequencies. So if you know what you want, like that feeling that you're looking for, just go to YouTube and type in like wealth frequency, or you could do love frequency, prosperity frequency, like, choose your path here. But for me, it's just calm. It's relaxing. I feel like I've tapped into a higher sense of energy. And I've done it enough times now that my brain knows that when I have that type of music on, I'm usually doing something financial. So it feels good to do it. You can light candles. You can use a really nice, like voluptuous or fuzzy blanket that makes you feel safe and comfortable. Hell, maybe you want to blare 90s music and put on a black light. Do they still sell those? You know what I mean? The goal here is to create an atmosphere that feels good to you. We want to get out of that anxiety and that stress and that anger. And we want to get into a space that feels nourishing, that feels exciting, that feels comforting, that feels safe to you. Because again, you're creating a new pathway in your brain. You're saying, oh, when I work on money, I feel good. When I spend money, I feel good. And you know what? Even if you get into that space and you feel some of that heaviness or those big feelings creeping back in, you can stop, move your body, and come back again. These are three of the several things that I do on a regular basis that has allowed me to change the way that I look and feel about money. It's not all of it. I go way deeper in some of these techniques in the Gutsy Collective, in that Gutsy Money Reset. However, these are three things that you can start doing today, right now. The next time that you receive money, the next time that you need to use your money. The bigger financial shifts that you are hungry for starts with these smaller shifts on a daily basis. I know it may not feel like you're moving mountains here, but you are. You're forming a new relationship. You're introducing something new and safe and exciting and nourishing into your body. You are starting to achieve your financial goals when you start doing things like I shared with you today. And if 3 feels like too many, then pick the one that feels like it resonates the most and commit to it. Do it. Really give yourself the chance and the opportunity to see this through. Because I promise you, those financial changes that you're hungry for are on the other side of these gutsy moves that you make on a daily. If you want to dig in deeper and you want some accountability and support as you're doing it, again, go to LauraAura.com and click on the Gutsy Collective, or you can scroll down in the show notes where I've put the link to join the Gutsy Collective so you can start today. If there is a friend or a coworker in your life that you know could use this extra support today, I highly encourage that you send them the link to listen to this episode. As women, our financial independence is one of our greatest forms of protest. So let's support and guide and encourage one another as we are building our own version of wealth. I'll be bebopping around social media, so if we're not already friends, you can find me using @thatLauraAura. And as always, until I see you next time, stay gutsy.